What a year it has been. We've experienced many highs, but this Christmas season reminds us of what is really important being here to celebrate with our loved ones, whether in a big or small way. This is Roleza, and I'm wishing everyone a safe and blessed Christmas season.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time is now 7:15 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And welcome to Activated Mornings this morning. Good morning to everyone within the sound of my voice. Those getting ready for school, work. Well, I think college still have school. I'm not sure. But yeah, those getting ready for
students.
Excuse me?
It's a good morning to the college students.
Oh, I wonder if they still have school.
I don't know.
Those just starting your day this morning. Special good morning to you. Good morning to our avid listeners. And good morning to those in the diaspora. And of course, good morning to Roleza, who is with me in studio this morning.
Boy, last should feel special hour.
Hmm?
Last should feel special hour.
Leave the best for last. Yes. Leave the best for last.
Look at you. All right. Morning, Ari. Good morning to everyone. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. It's what, 4 days away? Yes, it's 4 days away. Feeling in the Christmas spirit. Well, I know feeling a little bit of the Christmas breeze. It's not as cold. Well, for me, it's not as cold as years gone by. Or maybe it hasn't started to get as cold as yet. But temperature has certainly dropped, and I'm sleeping much more comfortably at nights. So. Yeah, 9 mornings activities have already started. People are already out and about. So, yeah.
You need to catch one of these 9 mornings, one of these fine mornings.
You have Saturday and you have Sunday, I think.
Ooh, I think Sunday. I should do Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday sound like it.
Sound like the plan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, jumping right into it.
Sure.
All right. So we're just looking at a few odds and ends in this particular segment. Nothing to go into any lengthy discussion or debate, but for persons who may not have been updated, we're just touching on a few topics. So the first one, morning, Anne. Ari answers morning.
Hey, good morning, Anne.
All right. So the first topic is we're reading from Searchlight. Is that another U.S. Venezuela prisoner swap took place in Cano 1 takes place. For some reason I thought it passed. Anyhow, for the second time in just over 14 months, a prisoner swap between Venezuela and American governments has taken place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or it took place earlier today, which was on the 20th. Yesterday, correct, right. Getting back. Earlier today, the US released Alex Saab, said to be a close associate of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, in an exchange for 36 persons, 12 of whom are Americans. Searchlight has learned that the transfer between the two countries took place on the Grenadine island of Canoan, part of the island nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. An official familiar with the security arrangements on the island said tight security was provided by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. The swap took place at the airport in Canoan, the same site as a similar exercise in October 1st, 2022, when Venezuela freed 7 jailed Americans, including 5 oil executives, in an exchange for the release of 2 nephews of the wife of Maduro. All right, so just to give a little bit of a background on Alex Saab, or Saib, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly.
I wonder if it's Saab.
Or maybe Saab, actually, right. Is a Colombian businessman who was arrested on a U.S. warrant on money laundering charge in 2020. The businessman was on his way to Iran when he was detained on an Interpol red notice while his plane refueled in Cape Verde in 2020. The Venezuelan government described him as an envoy and argued that he had been traveling to Iran to buy medical supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic, the BBC reported. All right, so Yeah, so I know that initially when the first exchange happened in last year, persons were a little bit curious. And I don't think that at the time we, as nationals, were alerted beforehand. Now we can understand why we did not necessarily need to be informed of it beforehand because of the security factors involved. But I know that there was a little bit of a talk that came out of it in terms of why SVG, how come SVG was chosen, etc., etc., etc. Right? So it's just to inform that another exchange occurred, and it occurred yesterday. And I'm not sure if this is necessarily going to be a trend. I'm not sure if the second instance should be noted as a trend. Maybe the third one would, if a third one happens. But yeah, it's another exchange has occurred here in St. Vincent and Grenadines between American prisoners or detainees and Venezuelans. So
I just really think this is a reflection of our relationship with Venezuela, and even from the pictures that I saw from the talks last week. Was it last week or the week before? Last week. Or was it
when
week before?
with the Argyle Accord.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think it shows who is our closer ally, and like when I see things like this, it's like this really, really is a reflection of our very close relationship with Venezuela. That's all I really took away from it. Everything else I read in AP yesterday, and I was like, this read like a movie. There's a movie story.
You knew of the exchange last year. You
No, I read oh, if I knew
if
about
you
it
knew
when it
about it.
happened, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but I was reading about this on Associated Press yesterday before Searchlight and SVG Times wrote it, and I was like, this is very, very, very interesting. And it reads like a movie, but yeah, that's all I really have to say on that topic.
All right. So as I said, we're just touching on going on some of these topics right now, right? The second topic that we're touching on is, well, a good news story for me in relation to one of our very own Vincentians. So, reading from St. Vincent Times, Rishan Brown has been appointed High Court Judge acting at the ECSC. All right. So, St. Vincent's Chief Magistrate Rishan Brown has been appointed to the position of High Court Judge acting to the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Her brother, Luke Brown, broke the news via social media on Tuesday. He said, our family just received the wonderful news that my big sister Rashan has been appointed to High Court Judge, acting and the Eastern Supreme Court. He congratulated her. We are proud of you. He said that I see this appointment as a recognition and reward for the outstanding ongoing contributions you're making to the practice of law and administration of justice in SVG and the Eastern Caribbean. And yeah, so he was just extending greetings to his sister, his big sister, Rishan. I would also like to extend congratulations to Rishan. She's somebody who I've known since my childhood. And even in her capacity, I feel as if we are losing one of our, should I say, better judges in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I've always liked reading the reports coming out from the courts in relations to matters which she presided and which she judged. And I just feel as if we're losing one of our better judges. But the thing of it is that it's not just us as Vincentians who would have recognized her potential, her qualities, and the levels that she can get to. She is now going to be in a higher position, and it's good as a reflection of the quality of persons who we can produce here in SVG. So just congratulations to Rishan.
As a court reporter, I was introduced to Rishan when I was working at Searchlight, and I'd like to say that she is a very competent and I think fair, and she has a very in-depth knowledge of the law. And I do think that this is what's the word that I'm looking for? It's well deserved, but I was looking for another word. But I think it's a well deserved appointment, and congratulations to Chief Magistrate Rishan Brown. She's very, 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 very good at what she does, and I love to see it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious who is going to replace her, because as I saw the post, I was thinking of the letter that the Bar Association wrote to the, is it JCSL? I think JCSL. and where they stated that out of the 4 magistrates, 3 of them are men. I'm wondering, will it be 4 men now? Would they appoint another woman? Would they appoint someone with police background again? I don't know. It's a loss, but towards her professional career, I'm very, very, very happy for her. But I keep wondering who is going to replace the chief magistrate at the senior offences court. No, I really do hope it's a balanced appointment. I do hope that it's a woman, not saying that that we need less men in the thing in the magistrate, but I really do hope it's a woman, and I really do hope that it's somebody without police background.
You know, I'm curious now because when I looked at the newspaper last week, or looked at the news last week, I think 2 females were actually called to the bar last week, and I am wondering in terms of the proportion of lawyers, is it a case where we actually have more female lawyers in SVG than male?
I'd
You
like
know,
to believe
and
that.
yeah, I somehow think so, and. But the other thing too is, you know, like we always have, there's always a discussion about women are advancing themselves academically, career-wise, etc. Right? You have more women who are getting further, but however, you still tend to see more men at the top.
How many high court
No,
judges do we
I'm not
have?
talking about in this particular case. I'm just
No,
talking
I know.
generally.
How many high court judges do we have? I could only think about 2. One woman, 1 man. Off the top of my head, I guess someone would message me and correct me. But what you're saying is right. There's a lot of not just in law, there are a lot of female professionals, but you would see that at the top of the ladder would be a man. That's something to think about.
So we see what happens there, but it speaks well for SVG in terms of the quality of persons who we produce who can take up esteemed positions. So congrats to Rishan. But it's a little bit sad for our country, but congrats to her nonetheless.
Yeah. Speaking about moving, this man has maneuvered himself around 197 countries.
Yeah, your goals?
That ain't my goal.
That are your goal? But I would love to do that. But anyhow, going to the story.
No.
You would understand why.
But yeah, I'm reading from Loop News. It's not every day someone visits 197 countries in the world or even ends their epic journey in the Caribbean. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was the 197th stop for Award Wallet senior editor Ryan Smith, making him one of the few travelers to visit every country in the world. According to Award Wallet, the blog, Smith landed at the Argyle International Airport on an American Airlines flight on December 16, 2023. He was joined by his wife, mother, and father on this trip. When was it that the Vincent Sham pilot flew?
That was the Saturday before.
Oh, okay. It was noted that although the number of countries in the Caribbean varies by organization, Ryan's 197 visited countries include all 193 member states of the United Nations, plus the Vatican, Kosovo, Taiwan, and Palestine. Before visiting St. Vincent and the Grenadines, his final countries included Dominica, Nauru, and Turkmenistan. I always find it interesting, these 4 countries, Vatican, Kosovo, Taiwan, Palestine. I'd like to visit the Vatican.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. I like they always talk about the countries within countries. I'd like to see how the Vatican is really set up. But yeah, to visit 197, there are countries I want to visit though.
Yeah, but not all.
Not all.
I don't know. I think in my lifetime, if I could, I would like to be able to touch base in all of the countries within the world. But
no.
Why are you saying that though?
If I never visit the Middle East, I will be quite fine with that. But there are a number of African countries I want to visit. I want to visit South Africa. I want to visit Zimbabwe. I want to visit Ethiopia. I want to visit Egypt. I really, really want to visit Egypt.
I want to go to Australia.
Yeah, I don't care about Australia.
You don't?
Yeah.
I think what happened is that at one point I wanted to study in Australia, and there is a beach in particular. It's just pink sand. It's pink sand. I can't remember the name of it, but on both sides of it, all you're seeing is like this turquoise waters. And that's the image that stayed in my head. And if that's the only place in Australia that I visit, that would do me just fine. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, at one point I really wanted to go and study in Australia, but
I'd like to
didn't
make a
happen.
Euro trip. I'm very, very interested in history, and I want to see. I want to just visit a lot of museums over there in Europe. If I could do that before I'm 35, I'll be happy.
By the time you're 35?
I'll be
Okay.
very, very
But
happy.
maybe go to England and then you could then you'll be able to take different trips.
That was the plan. I was supposed to do that in 2020, but we know what happened in 2020.
Oh, you got
Boy,
shot.
was I pissed. Boy, was I pissed.
But I mean, it's happy to see, I mean, in terms of that particular story, at least his last stop here was in SVG. And if you wish to see the arrival of his family members, you can go on St. Vincent News. The video is there, right? But St. Vincent was his final stop, and you see family members there in a t-shirt that has the Vinci flag on it. So yeah, it's a good promo, I suppose, for our nation.
Yeah.
Based on where all this article reaches, or the story reaches. So yeah, kudos to him. My aspirations and my goals, man.
Sorry, it's always good to see your goals realistic. Maybe someday you'll be able to make the 197. Where you reach now? What is the number you're at?
Maybe 5.
5 countries.
Maybe
what are the 5 countries?
Is it 5? TNT, Dominica, BIM, Grenada. Yeah, well, 4. Oh, all within the Caribbean.
Okay.
You know what is weird for me though? People have aspirations of going to the States and Canada and so forth, and they're not on my bucket list at all.
I want to go to Canada.
I don't know why. They're just absolutely not on my bucket list. I think it's probably because they're the countries that Caribbean people tend to want to visit the most. And I just want to go somewhere else completely. Just I said Australia on my list. Yeah, just somewhere completely different. So,
but at 7:35, we will be back with traffic talk. At 7:45, we won't have commentary by Sian. Sian is still on vacation drinking martinis, I suppose. But we'll be back on active. I don't know Sian. We'll be well, I don't make that clear because people don't take things serious. At 7:45, we'll be back to talk about the prisoners once more. But please don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
This Christmas, get huge savings when you shop at Lane's.